It is February 17th. I'm continuing on with my desire to vlog every day to give me some kind of consistency. I vlogged a little bit yesterday, but not very much. It was Sunday, so I went to church, and after that I had a Galentine's for my best friend's book club. Did that, and then I raced home to do the writer's room with Barrett and Tiffany. Did that, talked to them afterwards, and at the end of the day I was kind of done. So I didn't vlog very much at all. I didn't want to vlog the Galentine's because I would have had to ask everybody there if I could put them on YouTube, and I didn't want to do all that. And then I was kind of rushed, and I didn't want to cancel the writer's room or not show up. I was a little rushed, so I really didn't enjoy myself very much at the Galentine's just because I was trying to make sure I got back home in time to do the writer's room. So I'm going to put this camera on a tripod, and we're gonna continue to get ready for the day. I'm showered and dressed, but I need to do my 15-minute tidy, take care of Simba, and then hunker down for work. I'm gonna try to clock in at 8:30, working from home today because we are under a cold advisory / winter storm warning. I don't think it's going to be that much in terms of snow. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow. There's a light dusting on the ground right now. Most of the snow is supposed to come tomorrow though. I'm working from home today, maybe all week, because I have a transportation based job and we don't go out if it's below 10, and it's going to be well below 10. This sweater probably doesn't match because it's stripes on stripes on stripes, but I don't care. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Starting now. Okay, speaking of Galentine's, so look at what my best friend made. She made everybody one because she's artsy fartsy and craftsy like that. This is her love language. So there was other stuff in here that some of it fell out, but she made this cute little basket of Valentine's. And then this bag is full of other things that I got from other ladies that were there. I wish I would have been more present. It's a lot of people that I don't particularly know very well. It's people that my friend know, that my friend Hannah knows. So it's kind of like I know one person there and then it's everybody else. So I get really uncomfortable in those situations. So it's always a little bit awkward, and I kick myself after because I don't know how to be a human in certain situations. So, what are you gonna do? So, I haven't figured out yet. I mean, I don't think I would. It's only been a day. I haven't figured out yet what exactly it is that I want to work on. I should probably just focus on the trilogy and work on getting that finished. But I was sitting here while I was working. I wasn't really thinking about this. Maybe in the back of my head I was thinking about it, but I wanted to see, okay, maybe I should go over my works in progress and see which ideas are interesting and viable, I guess, and maybe get some outside perspectives, because I've been wanting to do a video that's going to affectionately be called Watch Me Whip, because we're going to talk about all of my whips. That might be the video that I do today. I might go ahead and try to do the challenge that I was thinking of going through each process of the writing process and trying to fall in love with every part of the writing process and trying to fall in love with my stories. At the same time, I'm like, okay, from what I was venting about yesterday in yesterday's vlog, do I want to entertain old ideas or do I want to start fresh with new ideas? And not just new, like think of a new idea today. I mean the newer ideas and not the ones that were started a long time ago and then not finished. I might do that today. I got some cotton candy grapes. I've only been nibbling them for whatever reason. I don't know. I think I want to take you through all of my works in progress. We'll go over the genre, the age category, and a blurb. All of them don't have blurbs, so I'll have to come up with one really quickly because I want to start making some progress. I'm tired of being in a creative rut. I want to write something and I don't know what I want to write. or what I want to focus on. Do I want to draft? Do I want to do the paranormal? I don't know. We'll see. Let's just go through all of my whips. I think that's a good idea because other than that, I'll just be sitting here working. So there's not a lot of vlog footage I can get from me doing my actual job. So let's go through my whips. That sounds like fun. Come on over to my computer and my Notion database. We are going to go through my works in progress. I believe I have included all of my ideas that have at least been outlined or brainstormed to some extent. So we are going to start at the beginning with my newer story ideas. Seed Among Good Ground is not really a new idea, but it's newer. Before I go into each of these stories, let me go through the whole database and show you what we have on here. And we're going to open one of these so you can see. When we go in here, I have a cover picture. For this one, I use the book cover. For the rest of them, I just use either a mood board or a random picture. So first we have the title of the work. And for my categories over here, I have the genre, the age category, any content or trigger warnings, the description or blurb of the book, what stage of the process, the project name, if it has a different name or is untitled, that will go there, the publishing path that I plan to take, whether indie, traditional, or undecided, whether it is a part of a series or standalone, and the tropes. And then down here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this space yet, so right now it's just a revision plan, book cover. So those are the type of things that are in the database. Okay, so let's go into Seed Among Good Ground and tell you about it. So, Seed Among Good Ground is a dark fantasy young adult novel. With book 3, if you can imagine, if you've read books 2 and 3, gets a lot darker, including this little addition over here where it says open door sex scenes. I have written them. I don't know if they'll make the final cut, but that is what we're looking at with this book. So I think it might age up in the category. I'm not really sure. And then the description, I'm not going to read it, but you can read it on the screen if you would like. There is a magical competition that Emerton plans in an effort to get her revenge on the Godhead. It is in the revision stage. Of course, this is indie published. It is a series, and here are some tropes. There are probably more tropes, but I couldn't think of any more before I wanted to start recording this video. So that is my first work in progress. The second work in progress is Meet Me on the Other Side of the Cosmos. Description: Nellie Davis and her 2 best friends go on a cross-country road trip to an NF, or a fictional artist inspired by NF, concert to meet their idol as one final hurrah together before one of them moves away. That is the original idea. I have been toying with some changes to this, but basically it's a middle grade coming of age contemporary novel about first love and middle school. I'm pretty excited about this one. I want this one to be traditionally published, and it is currently in the outlining stage. I believe this story was the one that I came up with during my first AWC presentation where I was creating a character. I changed the character to a girl instead of a boy, but originally this is where this idea came from. You can watch that video if you want, but that is Meet Me on the Other Side of the Cosmos. I'm thinking it's going to be like a little bittersweet, unrequited love, first love, crush. It's going to have some heavier themes, but it is going to hopefully be like a comforting read in some way. So that is Meet Me on the Other Side of the Cosmos. Next, we have my paranormal romance series that is going to be published under the pen name Kaya Sloan. These romances are going to be short, sweet romances that are all adult. It is going to be a series of 5 books in each series. So 5 books in 5 series. I will go ahead and read the description here. Short, sweet paranormal romances written and released under the pen name of Kaya Sloan. Currently, 5 series are planned. The Phasma series, which features ghosts, the Muto series, which features shifters, the Astrum series, which is about angels, the Fata series, which is about fairies, and the Sanguis series, which is about vampires. And these romances are all small town, small city, set in the fictional city of Black River, Kansas, where supernatural is the name of the game. Various tropes, indie publishing, and this is currently in the outlining slash early drafting stages. The next story we have is Mr. McMuffet's House of Puppets and Tuffets. I know, weird title, but that is how the story came to me. This book is a middle grade horror novel, so it has mentions of death, horror elements, ghosts, hauntings, things like that. And for my description is very short. Maggie Blackburn and her best friend Isabel must confront the horrific mysteries of their small town to save their friend Randy from the strange Mr. McMuffet and his house of puppets. And that is the basic story. A lot more will happen. I haven't gotten past the brainstorming stage with this one, so it could change. But this I'm hoping to traditionally publish. It will be a standalone, and tropes include small town, ghosts, nightmares, curses, and legends. I'm really excited about this one. Next, this one I feel like is going to change completely. Or I might just write a different story for what I'm thinking. But for right now, this title is Short Black and Asexual. I'm also toying with the idea of it being short black and autistic, but I don't think I like that. I think I'm just going to stick with this. So, Short Black and Asexual, contemporary romance, LGBTQ plus fiction, young adult, and for content and trigger warnings, acephobia and homophobia, and the description reads as follows. Aster McKinley has never been kissed. She's never had a boyfriend either. That's weird, right? At 17, that's something a teenage girl should have. At least that's what her best friend Iris keeps saying. However, Aster has never been interested in boys. She's never really been interested in anyone, but she and her friends made a pact. Complete the senior bucket list before graduation. And if Aster has to reconcile with James Westbrook of all people to do it, so be it. So that is what I wrote for the back of the book blurb. And because it's dual POV, I have another little summary for James. James Westbrook has known for a while that he's asexual. It's the rest of society that can't seem to accept that, officially out or not. Unwantedly coined the hottest guy in the senior class, everyone expects James to date Brianna Bradley, who won't take no for an answer. When the opportunity arises to get Brianna off his back and actually enjoy what's left of his last year of high school, James takes it. Aster McKinley has always been special to him, and that makes her the perfect candidate for a fake high school romance if only he could earn her forgiveness first. Process stage, it's fully outlined. I'm not drafting it, so I'm just going to put it as outlined. I don't know which path I'm going to pick for publishing it. It is a standalone, and I didn't pick any tropes. Let's put in fake dating is the main trope. I don't want to call it second chance romance because they didn't date before. They were friends before. So I'm not gonna call it that. So we'll just stick with fake dating and we'll see what other tropes come out. I pulled out my camera so I can have a visual as well. The screen is a visual, but to add something to the video. So let's continue to go through all of my works in progress. We left off at Short Black and Asexual, and now we are going to move to, what's next? Now we're going to move to Blood and Curses. So Blood and Curses, book 1. Blood and Curses is the project name. I have no idea of what the actual title is going to be, but let us go through this story. So Blood and Curses is going to be a historical fantasy, maybe Christian allegorical fiction. I'm not entirely sure on that yet. It is going to be an adult book. It is currently in the brainstorming stage, so I don't really know what content warnings or trigger warnings are going to be there, but the project name is Blood and Curses, so I assume there's going to be a lot of blood and a lot of death. Let us go ahead and read the description. Lottie Stoutmeyer is a second-born witch, born with the ability to travel through time like the rest of the second-borns in her family. Her duty is the same as it has been for the last 2,000 years. Destroy their vampires and restore the world back to its former glory. The only issue? The person Lottie loves more than anything, Cyan, is a vampire. How can she bring herself to kill them? But Cyan has a mission too. Sever the Stoutmeyer line from the 12 witch clans. It's a battle through time and history as Lottie tackles love, duty, and morality. And if I do say so myself, I think think that's a nice little description, a nice little blurb. I'm hoping to publish this traditionally. It is going to be a duology, and for tropes, all I know is that there's going to be time travel. All right, the next work in progress that I want to share with you is my NF short story and poetry collection. So if you do not know, NF is a rapper, and he is my all-time favorite rapper, actually my all-time favorite musical artist in general, and a lot of his music really speaks to me on a deep and personal level. So let's just go ahead and get into sharing what this book would be. I'll read the description. The words of NF speak to my soul in a way that I had never anticipated. This book is a homage to him, his transparency, his talent, and his music. Some of these stories and poems will be from my personal experiences, others will be complete works of fiction. Every story will be inspired by an NF song, and this is just a note. I don't know the legality of publishing something that includes bits of his songs and lyrics and mentioning his name, so I'll have to look into that when it comes time to publish, but regardless, I want to write the stories, I want to write the poetry, so it is going to be adult, it's going to be a poetry and short story collection. It's not a series, so it's just a standalone, and this will most likely be indie published. The tropes, or not the tropes, but the content and trigger warnings for this book are particularly heavier because a lot of NF's music deals with his own journey with his mental health and, fighting the inner demons in his life and the things that he has been through. So, sticking with the theme of his music, that is going to be the tone of this book. Next, we have Through the Eyes of You. We're getting into my old ideas now, and I realize that I have quite a bit of works in progress. I might want to speed this up a little bit. Through the Eyes of You is an old idea that was formerly the skeleton in my bathroom. Description: Pre-Merriweather had a picturesque life. Perfect fiance, perfect friends, perfect future. That is until Crohn's disease stole it all. After moving in with a kind and handsome old friend, Pre must find the courage to combat her disease and learn to love again, herself included. Through the Eyes of You will be a new adult contemporary romance. It is sicklit, sort of a self-insert, but not really. This is not my life. This is just a character who has the same disease that I do. This will be a standalone, and trigger warnings and tropes include DV, SA, gun violence, trauma, medical trauma specifically, and mention of illnesses. This is a second chance romance and best friend's brother trope. This will be indie published and is currently in the outlining stage. Moving on to our next idea, which is Vic and Daphne. So this is an old idea. I believe I got this idea in college. Let us go ahead and read the description. Victor Serrano only loved three things: his family, his friends, and writing fiction. When Victor's father dies suddenly in a plane crash, Victor and his mother move back to their hometown and stay in the home of his eccentric uncle. Unable to cope with his dad's death, Vic acts out at his new school, catching the attention of a local girl, Daphne. Intrigued by the mysterious Serrano home, Daphne leads Vic to exploring the grounds, where they accidentally open a portal inside of a book written by Vic's dad. Vic and Daphne must work together to find their way back to their old world. Or is this new world even better? So this is a young adult portal fantasy. This will be a standalone. Mention of death for content and trigger warnings. Tropes. This is what I'm tossing around because I am still in the brainstorming stage, but time travel will be a trope, and I would hope for this to be traditionally published if I continue this idea. My next old idea is The Naked Tree. I talked about this in my vlog yesterday about an idea that I was not too happy with continuing, so let me know what you guys think once you hear about it. But The Naked Tree was inspired by Brave New World, which is not in public domain yet, so I cannot call it a retelling if I was to continue this idea because it's not public domain, but it was inspired by the book of Genesis in the Bible and Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Description says, Colette is vaporless in a world designed and run by gifts called vapors, given to them by one tree, the tree of Knoll. When the sacred tree begins to die, the vaporless are to blame. It is an all-out hunt for everyone without vapors to sacrifice them to the tree so that it won't take back its gifts. Colette teams up with a small rebel group to save themselves from the hunt, and if they're lucky, their world too. This would be an adult science fiction. Again, cannot call it a retelling because not public domain for Brave New World, but it will be Christian allegorical fiction, standalone. Trigger warnings are kind of my usual trigger warnings, death, horror elements. Tropes include alternate universe, advanced technology, dystopian slash utopian, and a corrupt government. Because I've already published this book once, it would have to be indie published because it is currently unpublished. So my next idea is also an old idea, and it is And Then He Said I Love You, which is a memoir, sort of. I feel like you have to live a longer life to write a memoir. It is a standalone for trigger warnings slash content warnings, suicidal ideations, essay, bullying, emotional abuse, religious trauma, disability, Christian deconstruction, faith, and religion. This will most likely be indie published. I could pursue traditional, but I'm thinking it will be indie. Currently in the brainstorming stage because when I originally started this idea, I was in a much different place than I am right now. So it would need to be outlined and brainstormed again, and the description would probably change. But let us read the description. I haven't read it in a while, so I don't really know what it says. It was something I was thirsting to hear from someone, anyone. I love you. Those 3 words that will shatter and mend my heart all in one. You know how they say looking for love in all the wrong places? That was me until I found it. Not in a man, but in God, in Jesus. But my path hasn't been linear. It's been rocky. This is a story of how I was lost, found God, and was lost again as I navigated deconstructing my face. Hold on. My faith. This is the story of my journey of Jesus saying that he loves me. So that's that. I probably still will write that one, but that is this idea. Moving right along to my first idea ever. The first book that I've ever completed. Started in the 4th grade, finished it at least by senior year, I think, of high school, because the dedication is to all of my friends as we graduate and move on. So first idea that I've ever finished, first idea that I had for a full-length novel. So this is something that I do want to eventually revise and get out into the world because I just love the story so much. I love this story so much. It's, again, not, the writing is not, spectacular, but I love the story so much, and I really do want to revise it and retitle it. So this is Blinding Light of Truth. Blinding Light of Truth, as it stands right now, is a romance. I don't know why it says fantasy here, because it's not a fantasy romance. It's just a romance set in an alternate Earth where there are kings and queens. Well, there's still kings and queens today, but a fictional place, a fictional colony of kingdoms where we got rival kingdoms. It's like Romeo and Juliet. This is a standalone. There is violence, tropes. The main trope is forbidden romance, indie publishing, and it is currently in the reverse outlining stage because it's already written. So let us read the description. Just a note, this description came from the full synopsis, so I had cut off the bottom half because it just told the whole story. So this is not really a great blurb, but it starts with a little quote. The battlefield was silent. There was an eerie hum that flowed through the entire kingdom. Bodies of soldiers of Romeristan and Bravalion coated the ground, the air thick with the smell of blood and sweat. Blur. The 11-year rigid peace has finally been disrupted, and war is looming again amongst old rivals. Princess Gabrielle's kingdom of Bravalion and Prince Eric's kingdom of Romeristan. Rivals though they may be, Prince Eric and Princess Gabrielle met on more neutral and romantic terms. Defying all that they had grown up with, Eric and Gabrielle are joining together, along with her 3 best friends, Jason, Nicole, and Stacy, to stop once and for all this hatred that fills the heart of all their people. Unfortunately, many obstacles stand in their way of their quest for eternal peace and happiness. Gabrielle's mother, Queen Judith of Bravalion, has made things more difficult by choosing Gabrielle's betrothed, Prince Lucas of the Kingdom of Relevania. Again, not a fantastic blurb, but basically 2 kingdoms. They have been fighting for about 11 years, as the blurb says. There's been 11 years of peace, so I guess they've been fighting for longer than 11 years. And Princess Gabrielle and Prince Eric are royals on opposite sides. Princess Gabrielle and Prince Eric meet they have a connection, and they start to like each other. Things get heated when Gabrielle's mom, just out of nowhere, betroths her to another kingdom, and it's like the trashy kingdom of the colony, and everyone's kind of confused about why this match is being made. Prince Eric and his mom, well, actually, just Prince Eric's mom is doing secret stuff behind the scenes and wanting to declare war on Princess Gabrielle's kingdom again. So they're stuck in the middle of it. War is looming, and will love conquer all? That is that book. Again, this is so long. Okay, I don't want to give myself a lot of editing, but I have so many more books to go through. Next one is Blood Trinity. So Blood Trinity was a story that I started, I believe, in around 2009, 2010 maybe. Originally, I was posting chapters every week on a Facebook page that I had for the book, and people were like commenting and saying, like, reviewing the chapter and asking for more, and then I would post. So I stopped doing that. But this story has kind of still been one of those ones that just stuck in my head. It's a young adult urban fantasy. It says series, but I really only thought of the one book. I think it was supposed to be a trilogy. I don't remember, but maybe series. My usual content trigger warnings of blood, death, horror elements. Traditional tropes of good versus evil, chosen one, hidden world. Publication, undecided. Parts of it have already been published online, but by the time I revise it, it'll be something completely different. And the page is not up on Facebook anymore. Actually, I think it is still up on Facebook. Don't go looking for it. And it is currently in the brainstorming stage because I've only written, I think, the first 4 chapters before I stopped writing. So there's not much to this one. But let us look at the description. When Patrick, Leah, and Ryan wake up one day with a mysterious mark on them, they quickly learn that they are part of a secret world and they have been marked to become demons. Not just any demons, elite demons of the Blood Trinity. Once they cross over into this new world, they have a lot of magic to learn so that they can be ready to take on their strongest opponent, their strongest opposition yet, each other. So they have to fight each other eventually. They're going to be trained up in order to fight each other to become like supreme demon, I suppose. That is that idea. Okay, so those are all of my old ideas. Now we're going back into new ideas and series ideas. So the first series is my Shakespeare retelling series, and this is probably the least planned of all of my stories. I don't really have characters. I don't really have a full plot. All I know is I have the desire to write retellings of Shakespeare's plays, and I have cool titles that came from Shakespeare's plays. This first one, Fools Be Mortals Be, is a retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream. It follows Rourke, also known as Puck, in an alternate post-apocalyptic Earth. So I want this series to be science fiction and fantasy. Originally, I was writing Fools Be Mortals Be as a middle grade. I did the middle grade workshop on Barrett's channel, I believe, with Michelle Schusterman and a bunch of other middle grade writers, and she really enjoyed the first chapter. So I don't know if I'm going to stick with middle grade. I don't really know what I'm doing with this series at all. And then again, I just have a lot of titles. So Fair Sun and Envious Moon is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, and again, I know nothing more than that. So now we can get down to the cozy. So the cozy fantasy series is an 8-book series that is anthology, so it doesn't have to be read in order. You might want to read the last book, the 8th book last, but doesn't have to be read in order, and it follows different characters in every single book. The rest of the series is untitled, but book 1, Library of Monsters and Magic, is titled. About the series as a whole, the cozy fantasy is adult. It has romance and mystery in mostly all of the books. Some of them don't feature a romance subplot like Cohen and Lear's story because it's about father and daughter and their relationship. It's not really about any kind of romance, and these will all be indie published and all of that fun stuff. So let's look at the first one, Library of Monsters and Magic, let's look at book 1 of the Fellowship of the Oracle series, which is the title for the cozy fantasy series. The first one, let us read this blurb that I came up with. Cursed with the spirit of a basilisk, Callum has lived in the shadows and worked in the Library of the Forgotten, Opus Athenaeum, since he was 8 years old. All he's ever wanted was to inherit the library from his adopted father, Eldridge. When the Fellowship of the Oracle Oracle comes to do a surprise inspection of the state of the library. They deem Eldridge unfit, too old, to shoulder the great responsibility of its care. To Callum, his time has come, but Eldridge and the Fellowship have other plans. The intriguing Poppy Clearwater is set to inherit the library. On the night of her announcement, Eldridge goes missing, and it's up to Callum to find him, with the help of the woman poised to take everything he's ever wanted, until he finds something he wants more than his precious library, Poppy. Library of Monsters and Magic is a Rivals to Lovers, Grumpy vs. Sunshine, magical library, missing father, cute story. And I'm currently in the revision process of this book. Book 2 in the Cozy Fantasy series is about Cohen and Lyra. Again, currently untitled, so I just have my main characters' names as the project title. Description. Cohen was the strongest warrior in the Centaur army. A decade after the war that pit centaurs against humans, all Cohen wants to do is run his apothecary with his adopted human daughter Lyra. When his apothecary is set on fire, Cohen and Lyra are forced to move and start over. A mysterious letter beckons Cohen to pick up his sword again, but he doesn't want to be that person anymore. But will a call from the Fellowship of the Oracle change everything? I wrote this description really quick, but that is essentially Cohen and Lyra's story. Father and daughter from two races that hate each other, and how they are dealing with the discrimination from both sides, from humans and from centaurs who don't accept that they love each other, that they are family. So that is Cohen and Lyra's story. Book 3 in the Cozy Fantasy series follows Nerissa. Nerissa is a mermaid. Let us go ahead and read the description. This is the short description up here. So, a mermaid must make a pilgrimage to put her familiar to rest in a centuries-old tradition as she moves from childhood to adulthood to find her mate. And then this is a blurb that I wrote to kind of give me some direction when it came to outlining. Nerissa is one Earth and one moon cycle away from her 21st year, when it will be time for her to embark on the most important journey in a merfolk's life, the coming-of-age pilgrimage, something she's not looking forward to. When Nerissa's older sister takes over as leader of their small community, Nerissa has to step up sooner than she expected. Trouble arises when Nerissa's familiar is attacked and injured by a rogue band of pirates and derails their pilgrimage mission when they are caught in enemy waters. Nerissa and her newfound family must overthrow or get into favor with the pirates. That's the nugget of the idea that I have for Book 3, Nerissa's story. Next story in the Cozy is about Tyranny and Fauna. This story came about from a dream that I had. The only thing that I could remember from the dream was the phrase, Tyranny and Fauna cannot be friends. So I ran with that, and this is what I came up. When Tyranny's family moves into a house, When Tyranny's family moves into a new house, it was supposed to be a fresh start, but you can't always run from your past. One night, while she was searching the attic for paints, Tyranny stumbles across a chest with the words, Tyranny and Fauna cannot be friends, etched onto it. Tyranny opens the box, but it's empty, so she shuts it and goes about her business. That night, she is assaulted by a strange dream and a faceless figure named Fauna, who just wants to play. That is Tyranny and Fauna, Book 4 in the Cozy. Moving on to Cozy number 5, we have Imaginary Friend. Again, project title. Description. Maverick has been training to become the next alpha of his werewolf pack. Even his bride was chosen for him at an early age. Maverick loves his pack, but he might love Wesson even more. When Maverick's father finds out about Maverick and Wesson's relationship, he enlists the help of a witch to make Wesson disappear permanently. Wesson is killed, and in desperation, Maverick, with the help of his bride-to-be Yuri, enlists the help of the same witch. She ties Wesson to Maverick's life, but he won't exist for anyone else. Maverick can call his name anytime to see him, but they cannot touch. Plans for Maverick and Yuri to take over the pack go underway, and they wed, platonically and symbolically, because she's not interested in him either. At the ceremony to don the new alphas, it all comes down to a choice, Wesson or his people. And then we go to book number 6, Royal Witches. Princesses and sisters, Edie, Serene, and Gaia, are the stars of a traveling carnival. Night after night, they astound the masses with their feats of magic, strength, and even their beauty. Unknown to the audience, the family feasts on their energy, and it fuels their power. A stranger comes and is very interested in the girls. He stays late at the carnival to talk to them and tries to buy it from them or get them to work for him. The sisters decline and go back home to their palace, or so they think. Gaia returns to the carnival and takes a gift left behind by the strange man. When the three sisters each wake up with a new, fantastic skill, things begin to get strange. Everything is changing, and if the girls want to keep their families safe and their secrets covered, they may have to use their new gifts and bend to the will of the stranger. When Gaia uses her gift on the new owner, it unexpectedly affects their parents, and now they have to find a way to fix it before their family's magic is lost forever. And that is book 6, Royal Witches. Book number 7, Innkeeper. Maeve has always wanted to own an inn for travelers. She remembered when she was a child, staying at her parents' inn and loving interactions with the patrons. She buys her building, fixes it up, and is ready to begin accepting guests. Her first few nights go off without a hitch, but pretty soon, strange things start happening. Things go missing, patrons are hassled, and there are strange noises at night that sound awful. Pretty soon, word spreads about the haunted inn, both driving customers to her door and away from it. Maeve is determined to trap the entity plaguing her business. And that is book 7, Innkeeper. And the final book of the cozy is The University. So, all 7 books, all of those characters are going to meet up in the last book, in book number 8. So everyone, or at least some of, depending on how their story goes, which I don't know yet, some of them will all meet at the university where they will study to become a part of the Fellowship of the Oracle to preserve their cultures and their history. So all of the stories of the first 7 books are going to somehow tie into the last book at the university. This is the book I know the least about because I haven't written the other 7 yet. And then my final idea that I am entertaining is my OCD Dark Academia story, which is not very fleshed out at all. All I know is it will be about mental disorders in a boarding school in a secret society. I know nothing more than that. New adult, dark fantasy, dark academia, a little bit of psychological thriller, standalone, undecided on the publishing plan, and I'm currently in the brainstorming stage. And with that, I have shared mostly all of my WIPs with you. That was a beat. Alright, so that was the list of all of my works in progress that have characters and or a plot or a nugget of an idea, and that is quite a bit. So, there are some that I'm really excited about, and there are others I'm just like, I don't know. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite idea of mine was and why. That would be very helpful. What would you like to see me work on? I'm pretty confident that all of these stories or most of these stories are going to get written. I just don't know which ones and in which order that all of this will be done. I don't know if I'm going to get a new idea that's going to come up and consume me. But right now, these are the works in progress that I have. This is probably very long, so I hope you enjoyed this video if you watched all the way to the end. I'm going to try to speed it up as quick as I can because I just did 37 minutes of just half of these works in progress. So, and then I have the other probably like 15-minute screen recording video. So I'm going to hurry up and stop talking and try to edit this so that it doesn't take 45 minutes. So, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!